let's talk about a championship.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
Your boy is sick once again. I feel awful, but we're going to talk about the Spurs. So this is going to be kind of a quick video. I just want to talk about 3 of the biggest things I personally believe that the San Antonio Spurs need in order to go back into championship contention. Now, let's be completely honest. The way that the team is constructed as we speak, as of today, they are not winning anything. But I do believe if they have these 3 essential things, we're right back on top. Now, first and foremost, you need a shot creating dynamic scorer. Now, I know a lot of people have questioned this for some reason and asked me, why would you need that? Well, if you look at any successful team in the NBA, and we're talking about recent history, this season alone, every single successful team has this. If we're looking from the 4th up, and even these teams as well, but if you're looking up the 4th up, I mean, you got Embiid, you got Giannis, you got Tatum, and obviously you got Jimmy Butler and Hero, okay? You need a hero. And if you look at the West, the exact same thing. You have Luka, you have Steph Curry, you have Ja Morant, you have Devin Booker, essentially. So, and Chris Paul. So you have dynamic scorers. That's, I think, me personally, every single successful team has had dynamic scorers. No matter what team we're looking at, you had at least one dynamic scorer. So that's just something that's pretty essential. And I don't believe, me personally believe, that the Spurs necessarily have it. And if we do have it, it's not to the degree of a Ja Morant, and it's not to the degree of a Steph Curry. And you really do believe that, I don't know what to tell you. So second thing that we need is a point of attack defender. Now, when I say point of attack, it's kind of loose, okay? Because you don't necessarily need someone that's exactly a point of attack defender. But with that being said, once again, very successful teams have that. If we're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, who, when they were coming off their championship, obviously, they had that. They had a really good defender in Drew Holiday. Not to necessarily say he's a complete point of attack defender, but he is by far one of the best defenders in the NBA. Even if you want to add on to that, and we're not just talking about point of attack, well, they have Giannis, a really good shot blocker. They have Brook Lopez, another really good shot blocker, excuse me. PJ Tucker as well is a really good defender. So overall, you definitely need that. If you look at the Los Angeles Lakers 2019-20, I won't necessarily say that they were all out with that. Me personally, I believe they kind of had a low-key super team, but just low-key, not really, just kind of low-key. And it was a weird year for everybody. But overall, even it still stands true even with the Los Angeles Lakers. You have, as you can see here, you have Danny Green, a really good defender. And on top of it, you have your boy, Alex Caruso, who is a very underrated defender. So you need those defenders if you want to be a championship team. And if we go to the Golden State Warriors, this is the 2014-15 Warriors. I didn't really want to count the super team Warriors. But even with them, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, very good defender. So I just want to keep that in mind going forward. Now, third, but not least, you need a star caliber big man. Now, the reason why this is third, because a lot of people say, no, dude, that needs to be first. No, the reason why it's third is because it doesn't necessarily stand true. These two are way more important than this, because even if you look at recent history of those who won championships, Giannis was that, but Giannis was a plethora of different things. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And the Lakers, Lakers had that, and Anthony Davis, sure. Same with LeBron James, but they're also a mixture of a lot of things. And then if you go to the Warriors 2014-15, this is where I'm kind of like, I don't know if they necessarily had that. Draymond Green was a monster, and I guess you can consider him kind of a star. I just don't know if he's what you think when you think star. And this is what I really wanted to bring up. The 2014 Spurs as well. While we had Tim Duncan, it's an older Tim Duncan. He was still a monster. Don't get me wrong. He'll school anybody on any night. But at the end of the day, he was still an older man, all right, older gentleman. And he was not necessarily the superstar Tim Duncan that we were accustomed to in years past. Now, let's go ahead and bring all this together. Now, overall, every single one of these teams that I named off had these 3 things in some shape, form, or fashion. So once again, Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, he's a few of these things on this list, is he not? He is not necessarily a point of attack defender, but he's a really good defender. He's a dynamic scorer, and he's a star caliber big. And on top of it, you have Drew Holiday. Same thing. Drew Holiday is not necessarily a dynamic scorer, not a big man. Actually, no, he's not. It's not the same thing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say Drew Holiday. I meant to say Middleton. Middleton, I would consider him, and some people say that I'm crazy for this, I would consider him a dynamic scorer, especially at times when we're talking about a game 4 in which he put up about 40 points in the finals. That man can shoot. He averaged about 24 in the finals, so he can go off at any given night. And on top of it, he's not a terrible defender by any means. The Lakers, same thing. If you look at LeBron James, when LeBron wants to play defense, he can play defense, but on top of it, he is a dynamic scorer. And some people consider LeBron James a big man. I'm not going to go there, but look, he's close enough to it. Anthony Davis, defense, and he's a big, and he's a dynamic scorer. And then Golden State Warriors, they have all these things as well, with Klay Thompson with the defense, as I already explained, Andrew Iguodala with the defense, Klay Thompson being a dynamic scorer at times, Stephen Curry, we know that he's a dynamic scorer, and then Draymond Green, he can do quite a few things as well at the big spot. Now, San Antonio Spurs, this is what I wanted to kind of key in on, because I think that most of us will be able to at least gel with this, right? It's very apparent with the Spurs. So Tim Duncan, big man, defender, maybe not at his age a dynamic scorer, but I digress. Kawhi Leonard, he is by far a point of attack defender at this age. He wasn't necessarily a dynamic scorer, so I won't go there, but he was at least your point of attack defender. Tony Parker, he put on for a city, okay? Tony Parker could have very well, oh God, I'm sick, I'm sorry. He could have very well got MVP, finals MVP that year. And a lot of people actually complained about that. Manu Ginobili, same thing. He can go off at any given night, and he was a pretty dynamic scorer at times. So overall, but this was a really just team effort. But overall, you need a team to be able to gel. But these are the top 3 things I think are important for you to go forward and win a championship. And if the Spurs can kind of grab this, and honestly grab all these things in one player, they're in a really good spot. In this upcoming draft, you're going to have at least a couple shots to get a player that could potentially have all 3 of these things in one, where you don't necessarily have to completely just go all out on trying to find people to match him, because our roster, how it's constructed right now, they're decent enough where I do believe that they'll be able to fit in with a dynamic player. But look, I digress. We still have a lot of work to do as far as the front office is concerned, but let me know if you agree with this. And also follow me on Twitter, because like not a lot of people follow me on Twitter. Can you do that? It's Clan the Spurs Fan on Twitter. Just do that in my time of need, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and blow my nose. I'll get with you guys later. Until next time.